The hashtag is here, Media at the Trend Live on social media. Time now to talk all things football, all things Harambee Stars. I am over the moon today as we get to talk about this. I can't talk about it alone. I've got my guests with me. Hey, guys.
Hi.
Thank you for spending your Friday night with us.
Awesome.
Kenny, I bet there's another place you wanted to be.
But
you're here.
I was thinking about it.
But here you are.
Pleasure.
So let's start with everyone introducing themselves. Let me start with you, Kenny.
All right. My name is Kenny Gidinji. I love sport. I do a sports show on radio. I think I've done it now for about 14 years. And yeah, that's about me. And run a business further.
Oh, fantastic. What kind of business? Did you just say married to one?
Married to one, just to be here. Yeah. So anyway, I'm a project management consultant. Yes.
I like that. Egodida?
Ekodida? You already introduced me.
All right.
Former footballer.
Yeah, which is why he's here today, by the way. IMB.
Yeah, it's not about the music.
No, it's not about music.
Celestine Odilo, until very recently, sports journalist. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that later. But yeah, sports journalist, football fanatic, and AFCON specialist.
Yes, and I want us to start with it. Why are we talking about it later? Congratulations are in order. Tell people, please, you're doing well. Let your exes know.
Yeah.
I thought we'll do this at the end of the show, but yeah, okay. Yeah, this would be my last moment. I'd like to tell my readers at Daily Nation sports section that I will be stepping out of the sports desk for a little bit. I have accepted a new role within the company. I will be handling my network as the editor, and so you will be seeing my byline occasionally, but it won't be as engaging as it would be. So I hope that you had as much fun reading my articles and reading my coverage on the various sporting issues as I did, because serving at the sports desk of Nation Media Group was my greatest honor in life.
Wow, how cool is that? Well, here you are moving on up. As we talk about, just from your promotion to something else that just feels like a promotion.
Exactly.
Is us and, and just Tanzania. That was quite beginning. Where were you? How did you feel watching the match?
Okay, first of all, because of the time, obviously I was at home, but I think it was an amazing game because of the build-up to it. The whole, hashtags going up and down, the videos, the memes and all that stuff, and the memes and all that. So it was actually really good. And yeah, I guess coming out on top was even better.
Yeah, I was so happy. Did you expect that, Ekodida? Ama, you were going into that?
For sure.
Really?
Kama ilikuwa ni kubet tugebet kichwa. Tanzania, there is a bongo, ini ball.
Yeah.
Whoa. Hey.
I was sure before. I knew it. East Africa, bana.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you know what's so interesting? We were talking about this before, and it's almost like the mentality going into the game was also very different from how I think it was going in with
the first game.
What do you think about that?
I think that the national team went into Cairo with a lot of determination, and they were ready to take on Africa's greatest hit. And then the first game happened, and we went down and stayed down, and there's a lot of trolling of the team, and I'm sure that somebody happened to talk to the team, because the mentality that they carried to the game against Tanzania yesterday was just out of this world. You could see players like Michael Olunga coming up and being completely different players from who they were in the first match. And that is the mark of a true football professional.
Yes.
The likes of Eric Johanna Umolo, everybody was just playing their part, and it all was so much in sync. And also regarding the kind of trolling that was going on between Kenya and Tanzania.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, Tanzanians were all up in Kenya's face, like, we are going to beat you and we're going to do it in style, and you're not going to do anything about it. And so there was a lot of tension, even between the two countries. But Kenya came out on top, just like they always come out on top when it comes to Tanzania, and they've showed that they are actually the kings of East Africa.
But the trolling was a lot. I mean, because when they don't do well, I can tell you as someone, and this is generally in life, wherever you are, whatever that you're trying to do, whatever that is, you want to do your best, and you want to come out of it, on top. And when you go for a match and you don't win, and then you feel as if your entire country already feels as if you let them down. You understand? Really, it's so, because you already feel bad, and then you get what I mean.
Yeah, I think with the first game it was a bit crazy, because that first penalty, it just, it was like a kahashu. All the air comes out of the body and you don't know what's happening. And the recovery of that was the biggest issue. And because of that penalty, you could see that the crumbling of the team started. I mean, like the second goal was something that was defensive mishap. And it all comes down to some of these calls. We were discussing a bit earlier with Ekodida because, you know, some of these calls in the Cup of Nations can be shocking. And you're like, because you keep looking at that penalty and you're looking for it and it's not there. And maybe it's just because of who you're playing and who you are ranked as, which normally affects the decision made by the referee. So these are some of the small problems that you'll find in the Cup of Nations, and I think our guys have come on top of it because the way they handled the game yesterday was totally professional.
Yeah. And for you, Ekodida, what went wrong in that game with Algeria?
Algeria, hiyo penalty, to be honest, I think we have to have VAR.
What about it, by the way? What's the VAR?
By the way, tulizoea sana yote ya World
You
Cup.
cannot have the VAR, it's in the rules. The VAR only comes into effect after the quarterfinals. At the
You've seen now where she got promoted. Have you seen now? No.
So right now, no. It was in the rules. Just even before the tournament began, there was an agreement that we would not use VAR at this preliminary stage. We would start using it after the quarterfinals.
Okay, great. So your penalty.
What's the difference between this and World Cup and other tournaments?
I mean,
The difference is that this is Africa, and we are yet to actually try that VAR in a large-scale tournament like VAR. You saw what happened in the CAF Champions League final. You saw
that's it? We're Africa, that's it?
It's a TIA. This is Africa.
Wait,
because
she said I thought it was like a rule.
You saw what happened in the CAF Champions League final.
In the Champions League final, it was shambles.
And all of a sudden, when people are going to look for the VAR, the referees going to the box, and we find out that there was no VAR. I mean, it was not there. And
so hiyo pena sasa unaona venye sasa kabla watu waibema VAR hapa Afrika. Mtu akona kwa nyumba.
Ama tufanye replay.
No, I think we just use the replay from the guys who are shooting because honestly, I think the Kenyans felt wrong. That first penalty,
we
even
were
me,
wrong.
I was like, you know, really, you know, and the ref has only one view of it. And once it happens, that's it. So.
Well, let's talk about the players then. I mean, would it have changed anything if Wanga was part of the squad?
Absolutely, if you ask me. And this is a question that is very divisive because there's people who think that it could have made a difference and people who don't think. But I think that Alan Wanga, in his current form, second top scorer in the Kenyan Premier League, the form of his life, quality player. He's played in almost 3 leagues in Africa, top leagues, including Angola. And the experience that he has, he's the captain of Kakamega Homeboys. He was actually the coach, player coach, this period. And he's a scorer who's scored, 18 goals in the Kenyan Premier League. To exclude such a player and put some other people who were put there, I think it was an oversight from the coach, and I can see that he's actually feeling the effects.
Yeah, because I agree with her on one aspect. When you have a young player like Olunga, you need a senior player like Wanga to play with him. Wanga has played some of these players in other leagues, and he's not afraid of the big stage. Just like Olunga now is coming out of his shell slowly. It takes time. Olunga's matured in a league setup, but now when you're in a knockout stage kind of tournament, you need somebody who will come and calm his nerves and tell him, look, we have 90 minutes. Just play your football, relax. And I think Wanga would have done an amazing job. And that's why you would see at times even guys like Oliech being put on the squad. Maybe they're a bit older and blah, blah, blah. But they bring in a different aspect.
Yeah.
So I think it was oversight. And I think it would have made a difference.
Yeah. As you talk about this man of the match, right? I mean, he's everyone's talking about Olunga, everyone's talking about Olunga. Do you think that his outstanding and stellar performance, right, during, of course, the AFCON, is going to make him attractive maybe to the EPL? Or I talk in China.
No, he's actually in Japan.
Oh, okay.
Second tier, Kashiwa Reysol. He's playing in China, but he left China about 2 seasons ago. Now, 4 years ago, my name and that of Michael Olunga went into print for the first time. I covered Olunga as one of my first stories for Sports Desk. And at that time, I actually happened to compare him to Dennis Oliech with no foresight to see actually him growing, because that time he was still a young boy, he was still just fresh out of school. But I could see the talent that was there, and I could see the people that are surrounding him, including Ghost Mule, who has actually nurtured that boy from a young boy to who he is right now. He's been over the years to Sweden and China and now to Japan, and he's trying to make a breakthrough to Europe. It's not quite worked out. But just seeing his quality and his talent, he was a bit off color in the first game against Algeria, not entirely his fault, but you could see yesterday that he's a top quality player. And you could see why he's Kenya's lead striker, because he fights for the ball, and including dropping back when those balls are not coming his way. And that for me is a mark of true sportsmanship. And you could see that even though he's really young, he's actually giving a leadership to the other strikers on the bench. John Avidio was actually looking up to him. Masoud Juma celebrated his goal like crazy, because he was so excited to see his idol actually performing on the pitch. And I think that if we have players, a way of developing players to the level of Olunga, so that we can have more prolific strikers in that position, and I think that we can be able to take on Africa's great teams.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. If he maintains that consistency.
Yes.
Ekodida, for you, being a footballer before, right? And then, your kids now, you want them to get into football as well. Unaona tu policies ziko do inaenda. Unashinda tu.
Yeah, true. Najua venye hiyo kitu kidogo inaumiza, especially for me, hiyo ndio reason why niliacha ball. Hata niko tu honest kidogo, niliangalia sector nikaona hapa hivi jo kidogo naingia crime. Naweza ingia crime, si kulala njaa crime. Juu hiyo ndio acha niseme the next option mostly for footballers due to frustration. You look at your situation, unaangalia labda ulimaliza chuo uko umekaa touch, acha niseme touch ka bench for years. Maana kama mahali you have to forge years and all that sababu situation. Mnaenda tournament hata under 18. Wewe unapata watu wenye uko 18 years na tournament under 18 na already kuna watu wako 28 na bado wako hapo, mtu wa 28 years bado wako kwa bench pia anang'ang'ana ajameki tajengia hata Harambee Stars. So such stuff acha niseme zinapatiana pressure especially to footballers mostly. So I think yani tuko karibu kufika hapo pole slow at a time. Mbona sasa tuko na ligi ya watoi already imekam ligi ya FKF, sindio? Under 13. Yeah, development pole but rules exactly. Rules na regulations pole coming soon to improve. Pesa pita ingia. Na hizo politics mbaya za
ball. Politics solicitation, Celeste. I don't know if the politics are
No, because I just wanted to add on that, because you see the people who suffer the most in all this is the young people. Yeah. And I'm not talking about somebody who's already established and is playing club football or club rugby or club hockey or club volleyball. I'm talking about that person who's just walked out of high school, extremely talented, because I go for Kenya secondary school ball games and what you see is unbelievable. And these people just fall off the map. Yeah. And then you wonder, you meet the guy in the estate, you ask him, hey chief, what happened? He tells you, my friend, do I go and chase these dreams where people are going to make me get messed up, or do I start looking for a job? So if we can just build structure, I think that can be able to take care of these guys from that level. Yeah. So that now they can see a future. Yeah. And even their parents won't ask them, so now we paid all this for school fees for 4 years for you to go and become a footballer. Let's become serious. So there's that element. If we can see the money, and this is what Ekodida is saying, because sport is multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yes, it is.
It is a lot of money. Look at the amount of money Kina Wanyama make.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
But even just away from that, you know what, I look at, sports is such a unifying factor.
Exactly.
Look at it, it's very few things that really bring us
all together. Yeah.
Right? and sports manages to do that. This is whether it's rugby, whether it's
whatever
athletics,
it is.
And not many other things do that. But then you've seen this narrative before, I bet. People say, oh, maybe let's just invest in rugby and in athletics. So, Celeste, I mean...
No, we cannot say that, because it is...
But you've seen people say that.
I see people say that we should consider... Actually, that was the joke that was going around, that Tanzanians have let us dominate in athletics, but football, they will not let us dominate. But who says that any sport is a preserve of any other country? East Africa is known for football, and it is the #1 sport. So if we stop to develop football, and yet we're a country that actually does well in sports that require endurance, then we are denying our young people a chance to actually actualize their dreams. I don't think that we should prioritize one sport more than the other. I think that we should work towards creating a wholesome environment where every sporting discipline can be able to grow and to be allowed to flourish, and to be able to give children and our kids the opportunity to play and to represent their country, because it is huge. It is an honor to represent your country, and especially if you got that talent, carry your team forward. We should give all players of every sporting discipline a chance to play.
Yeah, we should. In fact, we have your sons here. Your twins, not twins, or may come through. Work on a Jazzy Soccer Talent Academy. I see that. Okay. Ebu, wako ready.
Mafutu waka hapo
Ekodida watu wenu
msiniangushe futu waka. Ndio ile idhaa Messi anaweza kuona ujui.
Uwezi jua. Sasa baba, okay sawa. Mume practice. Oh, we are okay. So how old are your kids, Ekolida?
I'm blessed is 6 years old,
Uh-huh.
and then Keep It Real is the firstborn, and he's 8 years old.
I'm blessed and keep it real.
Yeah, the difference is 2 years.
Kenny,
And
what are the names
they
of
look
your
like they're
kids?
twins.
My kids.
Yeah.
I have 2 boys, Gedinji and Madenge, and I have a girl called Wariro. I've registered the boy for academy in rugby at Impala Club, and I'm hoping that he'll pick it up. But obviously, the first sport for any boy is football.
It is too good to. They're too
By
good to.
default, yeah, you know, because it's played everywhere. If and it's cheap. I mean, all you need is a ball and a piece of space. That's it.
Now, there you go. I'm gonna score. I'm gonna score. And as they continue playing, I mean, you know, seeing Senegal lost yesterday, what are our chances?
I think we've got now Senegal lost yesterday, now balances things out for us because we now have a chance. If we would not have bungled the first game, we'd have been talking about a completely different story. If even we would have gone for a draw, we would have been talking about something completely different. Now, the permutations are this. Senegal and Kenya need a draw. And then hope that whatever other game happens, we just need a draw. So if we can be able to negotiate with Senegal and Sadio Mane,
We have a conversation.
and have a conversation.
Oh, you'll call them. You'll handle that. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you so much. But you know, when we're watching these matches, you know, when we're talking about Harambee Stars, because Kenyans love the EPL. I know we were talking about this before. People are obsessed with football in this country. And I mean, they're loyal fans. But I mean, when we talk about Harambee Stars, is it that they're being pragmatic and realistic as they, you know, when they're watching the matches, or are they just being pessimistic?
I think if you love football, just like or most boys do, you will obviously have that team that you look up to. Growing up, I grew up with the Road to Wembley, which was an FA Cup program on KBC. I used to watch Liverpool from back in the day. But at the end of it all, my dad used to take me for AFC games because those days you could actually just go with your kids and watch a game. It was amazing. And the thing is, we have to still go back home. However much you watch the foreign players, remember, even when you're building dreams for your children, the first stop is actually going to be the Harambee Stars or the clubs here in Kenya. That's the realistic one. So I think at the end of it all, guys are actually support their team.
Yeah.
And that's why they feel that pain when we lose. But they'll still come back. Even when we lose this game, we still support them in the next one, and we have to do that because they're ours.
It's that Kenyans are I feel sometimes that they lack. It's out of no choice because look at the EPL. All matches are on TV. All matches are on TV, and so you can from the team that's number 1 to the team that's number 20. Every game is broadcast live. Come back to Kenya, and we do not have broadcast partner. So that means that we are having very few matches on TV. That's one reason. So people can't watch Kenyan football if it is not available, all right? The second thing, the EPL has been created as it's been packaged as a product, as an entertainment product, and it is worked, okay? And it's been sold to us in a way that we cannot refute because, first of all, they're playing in absolutely pristine pitches.
Have you seen
First of all, the stadiums, the atmosphere that is created in those stadiums, you can feel it from your living room.
You can.
All right? From your living room. Now, the players that are there, they have been developed into mini beasts, okay? You can see people like Messi, Ronaldo, people who can actually dazzle you when you watch that. We lack,
outside the stadium.
Uliona Africa Cup of Nations, no, bakina post anapiga ball nje, anapigisha chuma.
We lack that, and it's not because we are less talented. It's because we don't invest as much, and so we only get what we put. What we saw.
And I think that's the biggest issue in Kenyan sport. We don't go back and look at it because, first of all, I think as a country we need to ask ourselves, what is sport? Is it a pastime?
I'm so sorry, Kenny. You know, I've just we've got to give the kids because they're just going to continue playing. So Baba ni sawa. We are much serious, by the way.
Half time.
Keep it real. Is keeping it very, very real.
Yeah.
I am blessed. Keeping it real. Thank you so much, guys. Tutaongea na nyinyi msimame pale, sawa? Msichoke sana. Kwa sababu naona tu anaendelea kucheza. Yes, Kenny.
Yeah. What I was saying is we need to look at it. Is sport an industry? Is sport a pastime in Kenya? Because even when you look at it, when it's in a ministry, it's a department or a section. there are countries that take sport because when you're like the UK and you're bidding your rights to the EPL at 5.4 billion sterling pounds for 3 years. Now that is an industry. And from there, you can be able to pay people 300,000 pounds a week. You can do all that stuff. So all these things about investing, as you were saying, and then we'll reap.
And I think also taking it seriously from the roots.
From the roots.
Shida huku ni watu wengi tunaifanya kama option. Ni ulikwama mahali after shule ukaamua hata niingia hapa labda huku ndio.
Kuna hopes.
And mostly parents, teachers and everyone like the whole society kikutana na wewe. Mostly una criticize you for playing. Unapenda mchezo sana. Unapenda mchezo sana. Unapenda michezo. Nilikupeleka shule. Huyu wengine wanasoma. Huyu anapenda michezo sana. And you're the one making probably when unashainisha your family. But according to them, whatever you're doing, if you notice, Olunga is an engineer. Watu wakimention wana make sure mention yake lazima weke engineer. Amesoma. My father used to tell me this when I was a kid. Kila time alikuwa anipata nikiwa na World Cup ya 98. Anashinda akiniambia, unajua hawa watu wote wako na degree. Hawa watu unaona Ronaldo number 9. And the whole team, Kafu, the whole crew wako na degrees. Wewe pata yako alafu kuje ufanye mpira.
No, but you see, I feel like it's such an African mentality. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of, and we used to hear this a lot when we were growing up. Oh, you go you're supposed to do a job that you love. You're supposed to follow your dream. They used to be like, who are they talking about?
Because I don't want to be a doctor.
But you've been told all your life. They're like, Kieni, that laughter is nice for children.
Yeah.
You know, and it's so insane. But
so
perfecting tufike mali, it's a whole industry that entertainment is serious. Like mtu anaweza funga from all angles. They must have invested in this since when they were kids.
Very
way
true.
young.
Very
kids
true.
see by kuforce. Mtu ako 12 years anaforsiwa akuwe under 8.
yeah.
Mtu ako 18 years ameforsiwa anacheza league, anacheza tournament ya under 6. Na ako 18 years. Look at this Gwembezi unashindwa. Mtu ako under 6 for real. Siko moneo tournament. I saw another tournament juzi Facebook. Ati Kenya versus Nigeria under 11. Wa Nigeria ukiangalia ni these are big guys. Mtu akona mashurubu akona ma 6 pack.
So we have to wrap it up. But you know, I mean, if you were a sports CS, right? So now Kenny, there you are tomorrow. Other than taking land, what would you change?
I think the problem with sport and how I look at it is the structure. And the reason why federations are run badly is because when they look at government, there's not much seriousness in pursuing that. So the first thing would be for government to insist that if you're going to run any sort of federation, because you're affecting the Kenyan citizenry, you're affecting young lives, young children, then you have to have proper structures in there that are going to make sure that people don't lose their money. You have parents who have kids who have traveled abroad to go and swim, to go and do this, to go and do that, and then they either get stuck or, you know, issues. So to avoid all that, just build proper structures and then we move on from there. Yeah, and I think that would cascade in terms of what he's talking about, developing from a young age all the way to when guys are senior.
Yeah.
So that now you start looking at sport as a career. You know, now in Kenya, you look at it as he's saying, man, unakutana nayo.
It's the same. Even entertainment is also a billion-dollar industry, and people look at it like, sasa unafanya nini? Watu walienda kuinvest in stocks, wewe uko hapa unafanya memes. But it's I don't know if someone likes it, they like it.
That's what they earn. I just say whoever their endorsements ni before tu ile salary yake ama wages. You look at that alafu angalia na udokta tu hapa. To be honest, we need to take it seriously kutoka tu hapa as parents. This is for me, for the parents. Yeah. Let's take this as a job to mtoto wetu akiwa anataka kukimbia like naonanga wakale huko hataki kujua acha akimbie.
Akimbie.
Acha akimbie liona guka yake akikimbia. Huku kwetu tuna examples especially acha niseme na football.
Example yetu tu ni end utafute job.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Pata job. Pata job. We can't.
Yeah. So me what I would say is parents, let's focus on our kids. Whatever they have, if it's gifts, whatever they have, let's just take it seriously. That's it.
Celestine, predictions. Cameroon before now, 2019, what are we seeing?
I don't think Cameroon is a team that is a Cameroon that we knew in about half a decade ago. I think they have lost the number of
other than Harambee Stars, who are the other contenders for lifting the cup?
I don't know what happened to Cameroon. It's the same thing. I don't know what happened to DRC because they have come a long way, but it seems that now their graph is going downwards. So I would put my money on Egypt. They have home advantage, and they have Mohamed Salah. And so that
Did you see? Guys said until the lunches, they couldn't play with those shawarmas. Kwa meshiba. Na ni usiku wanataka kulala. They're like, they're like, what do you do? What are your predictions before we wrap it up?
Mimi nafikiria Egypt itashinda but na root for Kenya. Na force too.
Okay, of course. Me, I'm going with Senegal.
Okay.
And I think Kenya will also do well.
Do well.
Yeah.
I like how you ended it. That's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
clever. You're a smart man.
Yeah.
Very smart man. All right, so now we wish our stars all the very best, of course, as they take on Senegal. We're going to be watching the match. A lot of us are going to be watching it at home since it's very, very late. But whatever it is that you're watching from, excuse me, make sure that you celebrate more. Don't spread more hate. Encourage them. They need our support. At least wakikuja hapa tuwapige kelele, si Twitter. We're going to be back here watching the trend. Thank you, guys.